Today I'm going to be making really creamy and delicious vegan rice pudding. When you're rinsing rice for either rice pudding or cooking rice, you want to rinse it until the water runs clear. If you hear anything in the background, that is water boiling. So let's rinse it. And move it around a little bit. And the water running out from here looks like the water that's coming in from the top. So that's all you need. Shake it. Now you don't want to put water on your floor. So if you shake it all out, cover it. I'm just going to use a bowl, and then I'm going to transfer it to the water. When making rice pudding this way, you put a good amount of water in the pot and start it to a boil. Then add your rice. This is just short grain white rice. And let's put the lid back on. Once it comes to a boil, I'm going to have to reduce the temperature. But by cooking the rice in water instead of milk, not only does it cut the calories, it also drastically cuts the cost. So I'm going to put the timer on now for 12 minutes. And I'm going to want it kind of a rolling boil the entire time. And I'm going to just stay here in the kitchen doing other things, but make sure this doesn't boil over, but at the same time I still want to keep a rolling boil for about the 12 minutes. It's been my 12 minutes for cooking my rice. It's been at a rolling boil with all these little bubbles the entire time. Now a pro tip for doing your rice is to have a cloth. If you're a paperless kitchen, it makes it even easier because you probably have a million hanging around. Your rice will spit, as I call it, a lot. And if you just top it off like this, and then you're going to have a lot less cleaning to do when you're done. So turn the heat off. I'm going to drain this rice and then put it back in the pot. I ended up needing to cook the rice for 15 minutes because after 12 it wasn't looking like the right consistency. This is what you're going to want. You're not going to want it exactly like you would eat rice as a side dish. You're going to want it a little bit more well done. So now that we've got this, I'm going to add my last ingredients. This is the most expensive part of the recipe. It's half a can of full-fat coconut milk. When you're dividing up your coconut milk, make sure you divide the fat of it evenly because the fat is where all the flavor comes from. I may not use the entire half a can. I found sometimes you can get away with using a little bit shy of it, and this half a can is just about $1. I'm going to start with that. Then to this, I will add half a cup of white sugar. Then to your preference, you can add 1/4 cup of brown sugar or 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I found that 1/2 cup of brown sugar is to my taste. And we're going to start by mixing it. So this is 1 cup of uncooked white rice. I use short grain white rice because it tends to be the least expensive. Up to 1/2 can of full fat coconut milk, the most expensive ingredient. 1/2 cup of white sugar and either 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of brown sugar. All in all, it's about $1.50 for the entire recipe, and it serves about 5 to 6 pretty good portions. Now, this has still got some liquid in it, more than I would like. I'm just going to turn it on simmer and simmer that down. And I've got that amount left, not too much left of coconut milk. I probably could have used a little bit less in the recipe if I had wanted to. And if optional now is to add a little bit of salt. I'd say about a half a teaspoon of salt to just bring out all the flavors. Another option you could add is about half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I really like that. And then when you serve it, you can add more sugar if you want in the form of agave or brown sugar or maple syrup. You can also sprinkle on some cinnamon, or you could sprinkle on some nutmeg. Those are some of the ways that I really enjoy eating my rice pudding. I have just added about a half a teaspoon of salt to the recipe because I find it helps to bring out all the flavors. And I'm just going to mix that in and let this simmer. Something to know about the coconut milk is if you don't have to do dairy-free, you could do cream or heavy whipping cream. Half and half is also another option. If you didn't want it as thick and rich of a flavor, you could do regular milk, or you could do a vegan milk alternative. Those are always options. I like the creamy texture that the full-fat coconut milk gives. Something to remember is that you can easily freeze coconut milk. This was frozen. I just brought it out and let it sit on the cooked surface as the rice was boiling. There we have a really yummy pot of rice pudding at about 25 cents a serving. If you want to see more recipes like this, please like and subscribe.